All right, let's jump right into this explainer and peel back the layers of what is arguably the world's most recognizable monument. We're going to cover the whole shebang, from its impossible physical scale and cosmic math, all the way to some pretty wild fringe theories, and finally a surprisingly human prehistoric prequel. If you think you already know the story of Stonehenge, well, prepare to have your perspective completely shifted. We really have to kick things off by asking the big one. What is the actual, true purpose of this physical impossibility? Sitting out there on the Salisbury Plain, it's honestly like a letter sent to us from the deep past. It's so physical, you literally can't ignore it, and its mystery still draws an unbelievable 9,000 visitors every single day. We've called it a temple, a burial ground, an observatory, but to figure out what it truly is, we first have to wrap our heads around the sheer magnitude of what it took to build it. So just think about this number for a second, 25. The sheer scale of these materials is staggering. We're looking at the massive sarsen stones, and they weigh an average of 25 tons. To put that into perspective, a single one of these stones weighs about the same as a fully grown adult humpback whale. And remember, the people who moved these, they had absolutely no wheeled carts, no large draft animals, and zero modern machinery. It's just an act of pure, unfathomable human will.
But there's a brand new, shocking archaeological twist that completely upends everything we thought we knew. For years, everybody focused on how those 25-ton sarsens came from the Marlborough Downs, which is about 20 miles away, which, sure, is a massive feat on its own. But recent chemical analysis proved that the 6-ton altar stone, the literal heart of the monument, was actually dragged an impossible 400 miles from the Orcadian Basin up in northern Scotland. That's basically the equivalent of dragging a pickup truck from New York City to Pittsburgh using nothing but ropes, sledges, and pure muscle. Crazy, right?
And what's truly mind-boggling here is the Bronze Age engineering. They didn't just drag these giant rocks, they meticulously shaped them. Using primitive stone hammers and antler picks, they struck these behemoths thousands and thousands of times to round them out. Then they locked the uprights to the top lintels using complex, Lego-like tongue and groove joints. I mean, that's a technique normally reserved for woodworking. And even more astounding, they perfectly leveled the continuous ring of lintels on a sloping, uneven hill entirely without a modern spirit level.
This physical brilliance directly extends into the astronomical genius of the site, which was famously highlighted by astronomer Gerald Hawkins. Hawkins realized, hey, this isn't just a pile of rocks, it's a highly elite, ancient observatory. The Heelstone perfectly frames the summer solstice sunrise, while the Great Trilothon frames the winter solstice sunset. And those 56 Aubrey holes dug around the perimeter, Hawkins figured out they were likely used to track an 18.6-year lunar cycle to actually predict eclipses.
Now, it is so easy to look at this math and assume some outside force must have intervened. But we have this absolutely great perspective from astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. He reminds us that these Neolithic builders possessed incredible intellect and a deep, vital connection to the sky. Just because we, today, struggle to imagine the logistics doesn't mean aliens built it. These people had the exact same brains as we do right now. And honestly, that brings immense scientific credibility to their breathtaking achievements. And the crazy thing is, researchers are still uncovering new potential layers to this cosmic math. Take Michael Gough's theory, for example. He proposes that the monument functioned as a massive clock. So why didn't we notice it before? Well, because we're looking for a 24-hour day. Gough suggests the 30 pillars tracked a 30-hour day, calibrated by the Southern Cross constellation on the horizon. Astoundingly, this perfectly explains why builders originally erected a Welsh stone circle at Wanmon, completely dismantled it centuries later, and moved the stones 140 miles to the current site. The Earth's tilt was shifting, and they literally had to physically move their clock so it would stay aligned with the stars.
Of course, where the hard science of carbon dating and astronomical charts leaves gaps, the fringe theories absolutely rush in. Just to give you the full picture here, we can impartially look at some of the more sensational ideas, like Swiss author Erich von Daniken's famous 1968 assertion that aliens shared anti-gravity tech to help humans build it. And this extraterrestrial hypothesis gained a lot of traction for some people when the UK Ministry of Defense declassified files in 2013, officially noting multiple unexplained aerial phenomena, so UFOs, hovering right over the site.
But if you think the UFO theory is a bit out there, wait until you hear this one. Even more bizarre is a recent simulation where researchers fed 5,000 years of data into an advanced AI. The computer proposed that a highly advanced Neolithic ghost empire engineered this site not as a temple for unity, but as a massive acoustic machine weapon. According to the AI, the steps were simple but pretty sinister. Generate infrasound, use it to exert psychological control over massive labor populations, and finally, track a specific impending cosmic trigger event.
The AI's proposed core mechanism for all this control? Infrasound. And this part isn't science fiction. Infrasound is a real, terrifying acoustic frequency. It's below the range of normal human hearing, but your body physically feels the vibrations. It's known to induce extreme anxiety, dread, and paranoia. The AI models suggest the specific stones were chosen like components on a circuit board, meticulously arranged to trap and amplify these exact frequencies, basically bathing the massive labor force in a constant state of religious terror.
And the AI goes even further, taking this to absolute extremes. The simulation theorized the specific geological makeup of the stones acted as quantum tuning forks, vibrating to open a dimensional portal. It notes the alignment doesn't just point to the sun, but precisely tracks a dark spot in space, waiting for some cyclical, apocalyptic cosmic reset. In its most chilling outcome, the AI suggested it's actually a biological hard drive, a genetic arc for Earth's DNA, or a massive stone server used to upload the consciousness of an ancient elite before a global cataclysm.
Okay, actually, scratch that. Let's step away from the fringe AI theories, take a deep breath, and dive into the real human prequel here. This timeline perfectly illustrates how the site's magic evolved. Hunter-gatherers settling at Blickmead way back in 8000 BC, the Welsh bluestones arriving around 3000 BC, and finally, the Bronze Age bell beaker people erecting the giant Sarsens around 2500 BC. The magic started a massive 5,000 years before those giant stones even went up.
So, 8,000 years ago, humanity was already laying the groundwork for this sacred site, just a mile away from where it stands today, at a place called Blickmead. Nomadic hunter-gatherers were traveling ancient river highways and discovered something totally unique. They found a location that completely stopped them in their tracks, turning this specific landscape into the undisputed spiritual center of their world.
So what exactly was the big draw to Blickmead? Well, archaeologists discovered Europe's densest concentration of stone tools right next to a warm, 52-degree spring-fed lagoon that literally never froze. But it wasn't just practical, it was magical. A rare algae in the water caused the flintstones to turn a shocking, bright pink when they were pulled from the lagoon. The hunter-gatherers were so moved by this that they meticulously built a 30-foot hand-laid sacred stone surface. We're talking about a prehistoric chapel constructed millennia before the pyramids. And the reason for that sacred stone carpet? It's honestly awe-inspiring. Underneath that hand-laid surface, archaeologists found the carefully preserved hoofprints of the aurochs. Now, these were colossal, dangerous 3,000-pound wild cattle. Early Britons hunted these supersized beasts with razor-sharp bows, but they didn't just eat them. They viewed them as deeply sacred spiritual ancestors, religious totems that connected them directly to the earth. So preserving those hoofprints under the stone was an act of profound, enduring devotion.
So, you see, over thousands of years, this place wasn't built in a day. It evolved. It started off as a humble watering hole and outdoor chapel for hunter-gatherers. Then, it transformed into a massive multicultural feast site where different tribes could share ideas. Later on, it became Britain's largest ancient cemetery, housing hundreds of cremated remains. And finally, it was upgraded into an elite Bronze Age solar calendar. In many ways, it was the ultimate community service project, bridging ancient Scottish, Welsh, and English societies in the shared architectural triumph.
So, to wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Is Stonehenge a lost cosmic clock calibrated to the stars? Is it some ancient acoustic machine waiting to activate? Or is it simply the ultimate mirror, reflecting humanity's timeless, desperate drive to connect with each other and the cosmos? Regardless of whether you believe it's an astronomical marvel, a monument of prehistoric unity, or something far stranger, the true magic here is its enduring power to unite us all in wonder. Thanks so much for joining me. Keep looking up, and I'll catch you in the next one.